Recording in progress. 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 Recording in progress.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I am Simra Rizvi from BCom Honors in Global Accounting, CIMA. Here I welcome you all on the behalf of IBM UG GLA University. First of all, thank you everyone for joining this session. We are having Honorable HOD Sir, Professor Somesh Dhamija Sir, Associate HOD Professor Anurana Dhamija Ma'am, and all faculty members. Today's session is on the topic entrepreneurship self-reliant under MOU in the collaboration with ADESCO Siberia with GLA University. One of the greatest skills of leadership is being unflappable. Anytime you do anything in the world, there's going to be criticism. With this, let's start our session. It is a great pleasure to me to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Parul Sharda Ma'am, who is going to guide us on the topic entrepreneurship, journey to become self-reliant. Dr. Parul Sharda Ma'am is currently serving as an associate professor and head of management department at Indore Management Institute. She is an enthusiastic academician with over 14 years of teaching experience in different colleges and universities of Indore city. She is also having a corporate experience of 2 years with Reliance Industries, Navi, Mumbai. Dr. Sharda had also been a trainer at MSME and Development Institute and ATDC for budding entrepreneurs. She is faculty of International Business Economics and Entrepreneurship and an author of book Macroeconomics and Indian Perspective. Dr. Sharda has published more than 40 research papers in valid national and international UGC, CARE, and Scopus Index journals. She is having many awards and recognitions in her account. She has shared her knowledge and expertise as a resource person and guest speaker in various institutions, including IIT Indore, Oriental University, Acropolis Institute, St. Paul's Institute, and many more. Now I would like to invite Dr. Parul Sharda ma'am to take over and share her views on the topic. In between, if anyone is having any question, or they can leave their questions in the chat box, or can ask after ma'am finish from her side. Thank you, everyone. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much for the very nice introduction what you have given.
Thank you.
And so I consider all the students who are here are keen to learn about today's topic. So dear students, as the title of today's session comprises of two unique words, that is entrepreneurship and self-reliance. So today in this session, we will be exploring the meaning and relationship among these two words, and for which I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to GLA University Mathura, specifically my dear friend Dr. Ruby Singh, and also the special thanks to EDASCO for this wonderful initiative, for which I appreciate you from India, Indore, from the core of my heart. And EDASCO is actually providing a platform which is necessary for building a beautiful, harmonious, vibrant, inclusive, knowledgeable, and peaceful place to live. Because it is by education and sharing the information at a global level, this could be possible. So here, with all of your permission, I am starting today's session. Atmanirbharta in India's new economic policy. Atmanirbharta means the self-reliance. So it is the topic which we will be exploring today. Nirbharta means reliance and Atma means self. So the Atmanirbharta Abhiyan, Bharat Abhiyan, announced by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, following the lockdown announced on March 24, 2020, calls for India's economic mission to be based on self-reliance. And recently, the PM extolled the various virtues of private sector over the public sector, emphasizing the services it provides, the employment it generates, and its contributions to reducing poverty. I seek your permission to share my screen, please. Kindly allow me to share my screen. I request host to please allow me sharing my screen. Till the time Atmanirbharta rests on a particular idea of entrepreneurship, so let me take you back a bit to let you understand the concept of entrepreneurship. The notion of entrepreneurship goes back to classical political economy. Economist Richard Cantillon and J.B. Say emphasized risk-taking and initiative to exploit the opportunities with an eye to financial gain and serving the society. The word entrepreneur in French means to grab or to take over, take control over, but it also has the elements of adventurer in English and self-motivated from the Sanskrit, that is Atma Prerna. So the classic vision of an entrepreneur is an individual actor who is able to take risk, weigh pros and cons, make quick decisions, and staying afloat while riding out the highs and lows of market forces. They should be tenacious and play the long game and build businesses that not only make them richer, but benefit the employees and the society as a whole. So in more recent times, if we can see, the economist Joseph Schumpeter emphasized the need of entrepreneur to be innovative, creative thinker, and new way of one who is capable of doing the things in newer ways. Today, many economists consider such innovation needs as a whole microclimate to thrive of angel investments, bank loans, regulatory mechanisms, bankruptcy laws, and basic infrastructure, etc. So self-reliance particularly is the social and economic capacity of individuals, households, or societies to meet basic needs sustainably. Self-reliance, we can say, is a program, a strategy which refers to the developing and improving the concerning livelihood, reducing their vulnerability and long-term reliance on external systems. So I hope I got the rights to share my screen.
I make you the co-host. Now you can share your screen.
Okay. Thank you so much. Give me a minute, please. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So here I start with the topic again formally, and I would like you to go through a very beautiful video, and I seek your permission again to share the video, and let me please confirm me if the audio is visible to you or not. If audio is audible to you or not. Can you listen to the audio?
No, ma'am, it's not audible.
It's not audible.
You should stand for a culture.
Is it audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm audible.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You should stand for a culture of excellence. The excellence not by accident. It is a process where an individual continuously strives to better oneself. The performance standards are set by themselves. They work on their dreams with focus and are prepared to take calculated risk and do not get deterred by failures as they move towards their dreams. Then they step up their dreams as they tend to reach the original targets. They strive to work to their potential. In the process, they increase their performance, thereby multiplying further their potential. This is an unending life cycle phenomena, culture of excellence. They are not in competition with anyone else but themselves. That is a culture of excellence. I'm sure each one of you will aspire to become a unique with culture of excellence. I learned every youth wants to be unique. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. But the world around you is doing its best day and night to make you just everybody else. Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else. Being like everybody else is convenient at the first glance, but not satisfying in the long vision. The challenge, therefore, my young friends, is that you have to fight the hardest battle. You have to fight the hardest battle which any human being can ever imagine to fight, and never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. To get the unique you, it's a big battle. The battle means you don't need to take a gun. The battle means you have to have 4 unique things. 4 unique tools you must have in that battle. One is you have to set the goal. The second one is acquire the knowledge continuously. And third one is a hard work with the devotion. And fourth is perseverance. Where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world.
Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else.
So I hope you all have learned a lot in this particular video, and we will be discussing its lessons at the end of the session today. I hope the screen is again visible. So the lesson which I wish to give from this particular video to usually I share this video in all my entrepreneurship sessions, because it is the words which are being said are, explaining you about building a culture of excellence, whether you want to be you or whether you want to be like everybody else. All over the world, I can say the educational institutions, your parents, everybody is trying to be a part of, you can say, the crowd. But if you want to make your own personality unique, you have to, follow the path which is determined, which you think that which is, made for you. You are made for a particular thing, and you have to follow your passion with your goal, hard work, perseverance. Then you can achieve that culture of that journey of unique you. So moving ahead, who is an entrepreneur? As I said that we will be exploring these two words, the entrepreneurship and self-reliance, and we have already discussed a few terms in relation to self-reliance. Let us first explore the entrepreneurship or the word entrepreneur, the meaning of word entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who always search for a change, responds to it, and exploit it as an opportunity. These are the words of a famous management, I can say, the philanthropist, the Peter Drucker. A person who always search for a change. That means entrepreneur is also called as a change agent. He has been also called as a catalyst for the growth of nation. He has been also called as an economic agent, a person who always keeps his senses open for seeking the opportunities. Wherever he finds any opportunity, he tries to convert that particular opportunity into any particular product or any service, and then work for the cause. Say, for example, if the Big Basket or the Grofers, the various applications which are using, like the Zoom, which we are using right now, is a, we can say, is a product which has filled a gap, that how can a person, a teacher can teach to the students who are far from a particular place. I am sitting in Indore, the Madhya Pradesh, and teaching you, the students of GLA University. So this has only become possible because of this particular product named Zoom, and is a, we can say, the creative or the product of the mind of a person who is termed as an entrepreneur. So the question usually comes in people's mind is whether entrepreneurs are born or made. Is there inborn talent required to become an entrepreneur? So assume that the answer is yes. Then we can identify the main characteristics, that whether, yes, this person is looking like an entrepreneur. We could start spotting the talent in kindergarten itself. And we could stream these people that, yes, these chunk of peoples are the entrepreneurs, and the rest of the people are only being made for doing the job in some companies. They are not made for being an entrepreneur. We could discourage the people who are not having these particular traits or these particular talents. But this is not such. Assume that the answer is no. Then schools could teach anyone, would be a profession like law or medicine, like a person who do BE or BTech, or a person who completes his MBBS is called as a doctor, and a person who completes his BE. Sorry, is there any doubt? Okay. So then schools could teach anyone, would be a profession like law or medicine. Companies could establish nurseries for them, like the incubation centers, what we are talking about nowadays, that the incubation centers are the place where the mentors are available and they are nurturing the ideas and nurturing the ideas of entrepreneurs, and then the entrepreneurs are coming out with a particular product or service. But what here incubator mean is a person who is having a specific qualities are being nurtured and will come out to become an entrepreneur. Is there any such degree that like BBA in entrepreneurship or BCom in entrepreneurship, which guarantees that the people or the 60 students or the 100 students which will study that course would 100% become an entrepreneur? Is there any such course? Answer is no. The real answer lies somewhere in between talent and education. That means, yes, it is the responsibility of we being the educators to nurture about the concept of entrepreneurship to the students so that they can grab the concept, and if they feel that they can fill the gap of society, they can they have some ideas of product or service, they can be nurtured through their mentors and with their talent and the education which will be provided by their educational institutes will somewhere produce, or we can say give a path to those people who will then become the entrepreneurs. So here education or the educational institutes are playing a major role of mentoring to the students so that they can get the idea of entrepreneurship, they can become self-reliant by the particular term entrepreneurship. I hope the concept of self-reliance is very much clear to all the students. Self-reliance means the person who is not a job seeker, he is a job provider. Is a person we can say is a self-reliant person, Atmanirbhar, as I have already explained previously. So these are the, we can say the general traits or a person innate qualities which makes a person entrepreneur. The first is self-determination, that yes, I want to go out of the league. I want to follow my passion. I can and I will do the, I will and I can follow this path of entrepreneurship. Number two is passion. Yes, passion means that yes, I will bring some new product into the society. I'll serve the society. See, entrepreneurship is not only related to any product or service, it is also related to society. And this is serving the society is one of the objective which makes a person different from a businessman. Like a person who is doing business is having the objective of earning the profit, but a person who is also having the objective of serving the society is an entrepreneur. So passion. The third is perseverance. Try and try again until you get succeed. Is the third innate quality which entrepreneur normally have is perseverance. Risk-taking capability and risk-bearing capability. Risk-taking means you might have heard some stories of entrepreneurs that the people get passed out from IIMs or IITs or the educational institutes which are providing a high package to them into the MNCs. They are being placed, but they are leaving that package and following their path of entrepreneurship. They are following their passion and they are following that path. So risk-taking capability as well as risk-bearing capability. That means if in any case the idea doesn't comes out fruitful to the society as per plan, so it doesn't mean that a person will give up to that idea. He will again rectify that where I went wrong, and then again he will try to come up with something new, and he will try till the time he will not get the desired results. That is risk-bearing capability. Creativity is very much required nowadays in any of the area, whether be it be the the private sector jobs or you can see the entrepreneurship. Creativity is must for any person so that he can many products and many services are already available into the market. We can see that if from a layman's eye I can say that there is a saturated market, but if I can see from an entrepreneur's eye there are lot many opportunities available into the market. So it is the creative thinking capability of a person which makes a person different from a normal person. Innovation, again, a person can be innovative in many ways, like he can change the existing packaging of any product, he can change the quality of any product, the fragrance of any product, the kind of service, like for example, nowadays many students are moving from their hometown to any other town, and the problem related to food, the hygienic food is the major problem these students are facing. So an entrepreneur who finds the gap into this market will launch the services like the home the food which is which tastes like the food of home, they deliver to those students. So this is, we can say, is some innovative concept or the new concept which fills the gap of market and which satisfies the customers. Discipline again is very much required for being an entrepreneur, be it be the student's life, be it be the professional life, but it is very much required in entrepreneur's life as well, because it doesn't mean if you are an owner of any enterprise, it doesn't mean that you can open the showroom anytime or you can close the showroom anytime at your ease. If you will not be disciplined, how can you expect your team to be disciplined? So discipline is very much required to become an entrepreneur. Next is dedication. You must always pay. You can just cut down the hours of your sleep and rest of the time you need to dedicate to your enterprise, at least for the first 2 to 3 years, because these are the years we can say is the gestation period of your enterprise when you start, when you go for the startup or when you go for the entrepreneurship. Because these initial 3 years, initial 2 to 3 years are the years wherein you are putting so much of efforts and time so that your enterprise would give you the desired result. An entrepreneur should be resourceful. He must be capable of doing many things at a time. We can say is a versatile personality. He must be or she must be a great listener. He must observe the people. He must listen to the ideas of friends, relatives, or in the circle, into the network, and grab the things which are necessary to nurture his idea and then implement it. If the person is not a good listener, he cannot grab the new ideas. He will always be ready, she will always be ready to reply. No, we must not be in a position always to reply, but we must have the capability to be a great listener. A person should be always, an open-mindedness should be there. Like, for example, you need to accept the things which are there in the market, which are there around you. And by that particular thing only, you can be getting the new concepts, or you can say the new ideas, or you can say the gap or the opportunities into the market. So if you are having the close-mindedness, you cannot be able to grab the new opportunities into the market. Then serving instead of profit, as I have already covered, that only profit making is not the ultimate motive of an entrepreneur. The serving to society, serving to the gap of society is the objective, is the first objective of an entrepreneur, and then comes the profit, obviously, because capital is one of the thing which is required, which is called as factors of production. If you all are aware of that, there are 3 factors of production: land, labor, and capital. So capital is one of the factor, we can say, is the lifeblood of any enterprise. So it is very much required, yes, but serving to the society is the first objective for being an entrepreneur, and then profit comes on its own. Last, which I feel, is opportunity obsessed. A person is always opportunity obsessed. He is always keeping his senses open so that he can grab the opportunity as soon as it comes, and then implement that opportunity into his existing product or service, or he can develop a new product or service. So these are the traits of entrepreneur which we have discussed in the previous slide. He is an innovator, he is a risk taker, he is a decision maker, he is having the quality of perseverance. Leadership, he is having leadership. If we talk about, there are various types of leadership we have studied of, like for example, the autocratic leadership, the democratic leadership, free rein leadership, the paternalistic leadership. But in entrepreneurship, we can say that a mix of all this leadership is required. You can say the transformational leadership is required to become a successful entrepreneur. If you know, you will always be ordering to your team, the desired result won't come. You have to be the part of team, work together with the team, and then you can expect the results from your team. This type of leadership is required to become a successful entrepreneur. Desire for money, yes, I said that capital is one of the important factor which is required. Ability to get along and organizing the building or organizing the organization, the enterprise is the another trait of entrepreneur. So here we can say that we need to ask these 5 W's and 1 H, we can say, to ourselves when we choose the path of entrepreneurship. As you can see in this particular picture, that the many peoples are going into the one line, that is the track of employees, and the person who is choosing the another path is an entrepreneur. You have to think out of the box. You need to answer, if you are having the answer for what is the product you are going to produce, or what is the service that you are going to launch, which is the gap where you are which is the gap that you are filling through your product or service. If you have that particular idea in mind, you can launch your product or service. Second is why, which is the gap, as I said, why you are having that particular idea in your mind, why this product will satisfy the needs of customers into the market. If you have the answer of why, you can move ahead to how. If you are clear with what and why, then you need to see how you can achieve this, how you can materialize this idea into the product or service. And if then you are clear with how, then you need to think that where you are going to launch this particular product or service, who will be your first customer, who will be your first person who will be purchasing your product or availing your service. When or what is the right time to launch that particular product is the, if you are having the answers of these 5 W's and 1 H, you are ready to launch your product. You can take the help of mentors, you can take the help of incubation centers, obviously, and you are ready to launch your product or service into the market. So this is the flow chart of entrepreneurship. First is idea generation. That means if you are having the idea, not raw idea, you must have a particular idea to get your product into the or service into the market. If you are having like many raw ideas comes into our mind daily, but we cannot materialize all those ideas into any product or service. You need to pick up one idea that is very much you can say appealing to you, or you feel that particular idea can be materialized with the available resources, say for example. So idea generation is the first step. Second is germination. You have the idea, you need to germinate, you need to recognize that where you are going to where you are going to help to materialize this particular idea into the product or service. So idea generation, you can say, is the seed, and that seed needs to be germinated with the help of a particular mentoring services, or we can say with the help of teachers, with the help of mentors, you can germinate your idea. And then preparation, that means you are rationalizing the that particular idea according to the market needs, according to the market requirements, according to the customer requirements. Then incubation. Incubation means the fantasizing. You have the prototype available with you. You have the prototype ready with you, and you are now testing that particular product into the market. Then feasibility study, we will be discussing the feasibility study separately in the next slide. Feasibility study means how much your product is economically viable for the market or not. Your product or your service is economically viable or not, you need to study under this particular feasibility study. After feasibility study, illumination. Illumination means yes, the feasibility study says that your product or service is ready to launch into the market. That means you are into the illumination stage. Your product or service is ready to sparkle. You're ready to shed light into the market with new service or new product. And last is verification or validation. You have launched your product and then you have started getting response from the market. So these are the few steps which you can say are the process of entrepreneurship. So as I have said that the feasibility study, here is the flowchart of feasibility study. Like for example, if you have the proposed business venture, you have the idea, you need to spend the time and resources necessary to move forward with the business idea, but it depends on 4 types of, we can say, the feasibility studies. First is product or service feasibility. That means whether your product or service is feasible for the market, whether it will be generating the revenues for you or not. Number 2, industry or market feasibility. Like for example, if you are launching, we can take the example of Tata Nano car, which has launched into the market and which has disappeared from the market in no's time. Like maybe in automobile sector, that particular vehicle have not done the feasibility study, industry market feasibility, and that is why it has failed, we can say. So industry and market feasibility is very much required to enter into the market. And if you are not getting the answer of industry or market feasibility or any of these feasibilities as yes, you need to drop or you need to rethink the business idea. Next is organizational feasibility. That means you need to identify that how much skilled and unskilled laborers or skilled and unskilled employees you will be requiring for your idea. And if you have the resources available with you, or you have the plans that you will be getting these kind of resources from any portal or any you can say the area, then can proceed to the next feasibility study, that is financial feasibility. You need to check whether you have the short-term, middle-term and long-term financial resources available with you or not. And if all these 4 feasibilities says yes, you get the answer yes in all 4 areas, you can proceed with the business plan. And if you are getting no in any of the 1 feasibility study, even you need to drop or you need to rethink the business idea so that you can launch the product or the service with full-fledged and a particular you can say the foolproof plan into the market. So now comes to job versus entrepreneurship. When we say that whether you want to become a job seeker or whether you want to become a job provider, so this is the graph. You can see that revenue when you do the job and revenue you receive when you do the business. The graph is steep. Entrepreneur, when you enter into the business market and when you are doing job, the revenue is constant, you can say, for the starting 2 years or 3 years. Then maybe the promotions announces and you get the salary hike, but till the time if you are spending that particular time into the your idea or into your enterprise, you will be getting more output in comparison to job. So then what if you are not having the idea, if you are not having the mentoring services, if you are not having that particular, you have the risk factor in you that you are not able to take risk for starting the business, but you have some 1% of entrepreneurship skills in you. You have the passion that yes, I want to do something creative, but if you are not getting the proper mentoring, You can even contribute your entrepreneurship skills. You can even contribute your creativity and innovative skills into your job, also in your private sector. When you are entering into any private sector, or whenever you are entering into any particular job, also you can implement that particular skills into your workplace also, and that particular skill is called as intrapreneur in that case. So entrepreneur is a person who is the owner of any enterprise, but intrapreneur is a person who is a part of strategic decision making into any organization. So if we talk about the risk factor, it is less in comparison to intrapreneur, and it is more in comparison to entrepreneur, because here he is a person who is the owner, and here is a person who is a kind of employee to the organization, but yes, he is a part of strategic decision making, who innovates and leads into the organization. As you can see that there is an overlapping into the innovating and leading part. So entrepreneur is also a person who is innovating and leading, and entrepreneur is also a person who is innovating and leading into the organization. The only thing is he is an employee of the organization who is having a right to take, or we can say the person, like for example, if you have heard about the people who are in board of directors, or the people who are having the positions like the managing directors and CEOs in the organization, are having the rights to take the decision in favor of organization, who are free to apply their creativity and innovation into the organization, are called as intrapreneurs. Moving ahead, to be successful, to become an entrepreneur, you must solve the actual problems. As I have already discussed, that you need to identify the problem, the pain point of the market, the pain point of customer. If you can identify, you can convert that pain point into any product or service, and you can become an entrepreneur. Number two is put customers and product first. You need not to put yourself and your objectives first. You need to put customers and product first. You need to identify that whether you need your customers are satisfied with your product or service or not, and if yes, then if no, then you need to formulate, or you need to upgrade your product or service according to the needs of customer. As you can you might have studied that we are living in a customer centric market, where customer is the king. You need to keep track of all the needs of customers, and accordingly you need to update the product or service, so that you can be in the market for the long period of time. Number three is embrace social media, or you can say embrace technology, the upgraded technology, whichever is going nowadays. Like for example, nowadays AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics is in the air. Social media is the platform where you can see that, which is helping a lot in, or you can say which is saving money in case of advertising or promotion criteria. So embrace social media. It will give you you can say a platform to showcase your talent with no money initially. And then point number four is get help from the freelancers. There is no need that you need to establish all kind of departments into your enterprise only. For example, if you want to have the research and development department into your organization, it is not mandatory that you need to establish a particular separate department for R&D, research and development. You can also hire the services from freelancers, research and development teams, allocate the projects and get the work done for say for example in 6 months they will complete the work, and then you can pay the freelancers for a particular project. And so you can save money, you can save cost, and you can save the energy, you can say. So get the help from freelancers. It is the need of hour, you can say, to become successful. Number 5 is deliver real value. So whatever you promise, you need to deliver that value to the customers. Otherwise, don't promise. Right? So don't just sell a product, sell the service, sell the value to the customers. Last is always be in learning mode. There is no time. The time when you think that you have learned a lot, you have learned so many things, and there is nothing more to learn from the market or from the from your environment, that day you are you can say the graph will diminish from that day. So always be in learning mode, always learn new things from your peers, your environment, your you can say your team, and get the knowledge from there, and implement the knowledge or the learning which you get from your environment into improvising your product or service. So here are the 5 P's of life of an entrepreneur to get the success. First is patience. You need to have patience to get the success, because it is not a miracle that will happen in one day and you will become a successful businessman or successful entrepreneur. You need to have the patience. You need to have persistence. You need to have perseverance. Try and try again. You need to have passion that yes, I will and I can and I will make a difference into the society one day. And you need to have a purpose to to bring a positive change into the society, to bring a positive change into the problems of people. As I've said, that you need to identify the pain point and then convert that pain point into the product or service. So these are some of the creations that has changed the world. That is, as you can see, can anyone answer me who is in the picture at the corner, top right? Anyone? Yes. Who's in the picture? Okay. Alexander Graham Bell. He was a Scottish-born inventor, scientist, and engineer who is credited with inventing and patenting the first practical telephone in 1876. He also co-founded the American Telephone and Telegraph Company in 1885. So you can, see that entrepreneurship is not new. It is way back, it has started. So moving ahead, give me a minute, please. Yes. Moving ahead, if you can see that the creations that has changed the world, the one app which we are using right now, can you name these 3 applications, the logos? Number 1 is Zoom. Number 2 is, yes. Okay. Zoom is known for frictionless communication platform. It is the only one that has started with video as its foundation, and we have set the standard for innovation ever since. That is why we are intuitive, scalable, and secure choice for large enterprises. These are the words by owner of, or you can say the founder of Zoom. The second logo that you can see is Google Meet. Anyone with a Google account can create a video meeting, invite up to 100 participants free of cost, and for free. Business schools and other organizations can take the advantage of these features. The another logo which you can see is of Skype. Skype is a Luxembourg telecommunications company headquartered in Luxembourg City, whose chief business is manufacturing and marketing of the video chat and instant messaging computer software program. So these are the creations you can see who have changed the way communication has been done previously. The another creation that has changed the world is, I am sharing very few examples. Paytm Money, the first logo, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of 197 Communications, headquartered in Bangalore, which is a B2C, business to consumer model, and it is not very old. It is founded in 1st of October 2017 with only 150 employees at start. The second logo which you can see is of Razorpay, which is India's first payment gateway to launch unified payment interface, that is UPI, for its 10,000 merchants. Founded by IIT Roorkee alumni, is only a student. Once a student, IIT Roorkee alumni, Razorpay revolutionized online payments by providing developer-friendly APIs and hassle-free integration. And it has It has been founded in 2013 by Harshil Mathur and Shashank Kumar in Bangalore. The another logo which you can see is with three friends, Sampad, Akash and Aditya, who has started InstaMojo to solve the problem to make the internet a trustworthy place for businesses to grow. This InstaMojo has helped MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium scale entrepreneurs, to start, sell, manage and grow their offerings like payments and free online store, logistics, credit and financing across mobile and across the web. Then coming to the next slide, which I wish to share with you all, is Ola Cabs. As you have, many of you have availed this service, Ola Cabs. Ola Cabs is an Indian multinational ride sharing company offering services to the customers and for hiring and food delivery also. It has also been founded by the IIT Bombay alumnus, founded in December 2010, 3rd December 2010. CEO is Bhavesh Agrawal, headquarter again the Bangalore, and his friend Ankit Bhati also was there with him. The another creation which I would like to share with you all is Practo and the Big Basket. Practo is a medical application, you can say, is the application which helps to get the medicines from to the needy peoples. Shashank ND is the CEO of Practo, and this organization has been founded in 2008. And Practo is on a mission to make quality healthcare affordable and accessible for over 1 billion of Indians. You can see the vision statement: on a mission to make quality healthcare affordable and accessible. That means there is a purpose to solve provide the healthcare affordable and accessible to the needy people. This is the idea behind entrepreneurship, or you can say the idea behind establishing the Practo. The supermarket grocery supplies, you can say, the another logo which you can see is Big Basket, is an Indian online grocery delivery service which has been founded by Hari Menon and headquartered in Bangalore, and we can say the owner is Tata Group. But then this has again filled the gap into the market, that people are so busy into their lives that they are not getting time to go and shop for their groceries. So Big Basket is an application wherein it is filling the gap that people on the transit, whenever they are in their public transport, when they are traveling from their workplace to their home, they can order the groceries, and as soon as they reach to their home, they get their groceries deliverable at their doorstep. So these are few of the creations which I thought would bring a change into your mindset. So ask yourself, if someone can do, then why can't you? If someone can become an entrepreneur, why can't you become an entrepreneur? So entrepreneurship is all about your mindset. When we talk about self-reliance, Atmanirbharta is India's new economic policy. As I have already said, that Nirbharta means reliance and Atma means the self. And Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, announced by our Prime Minister following the lockdown announced on March 24, 2020, calls for India's economic mission to be based on self-reliance, because it was the COVID time only that we have realized that the importance of being self-reliant. We have identified that if we would have created the medical supplies, we would have many facilities like the transportation facilities with us, the advanced transportation facilities with us, we would not have been dependent on any other nation. Hence, self-reliance is very much important. So when we talk about self-reliance, it is we can say it is the social and economic capacity of individuals, the households and societies to meet basic needs sustainably. And in the year 2020, our Prime Minister has called on the nation to kick off the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Many discussions and debates held claiming self-reliance will lead towards protectionism or isolation. However, it is adopting a realistic strategic framework that could encourage the country to identify and focus on its core and its innate capacities. Entrepreneurship and economic growth. Entrepreneurs serves as a catalyst in the process of industrialization and economic growth. So here we are establishing the relationship between entrepreneurship and economic development and how it could contribute to the economic growth of any country. They are catalyst in the process of industrialization because they are not only starting their own enterprise, but they are also providing jobs to the people, because there is always a requirement of team to run any business, to run any enterprise. So when you are hiring those team into your enterprise, that means you are providing job to the peoples, you are providing employment to the you are providing employment into the nation, and hence you are increasing the per capita income of the person to the peoples, and that per capita income will increase the purchasing capacity of the people, and that purchasing capacity will indirectly contribute to the gross domestic product, the GDP of the economy. So they use capital, labor, and technology and act as an economic agent. The entrepreneurs use capital, labor, and technology, and they act as an economic agent to boost the economy, so that more and more jobs will come, more and more growth will come, and the figures will rise, and automatically the economic development will takes place. So there is one, here is one flow chart which explains that entrepreneurship is a production activity. Let me share the full screen. So entrepreneurship is a production activity which produces goods and services, and these goods and services, once satisfied the domestic needs, will then be exported to other nations, and which will increase the national income of the country. Right? The entrepreneurship and production activity again will improvise and will substitute the imports from the other countries, and will again increase the national income, because the foreign exchange reserves will increase, and that will contribute to the national income. Entrepreneurship or production activity also will boost the exports, and again will contribute to the national income of the country. And hence you can see that how this particular activity by different ways is contributing to the national income. So becoming a self-reliant person will not only help you, but will also help the nation to grow faster than usual. In the conclusion, I would say that the outbreak of COVID-19 made the economies realize the importance of self-reliance, and it plays a significant role in building a strong social structure and increase the levels of economic activity. Our Prime Minister emphasized to become vocal for local, and therefore developing social and economic links with the local communities. So these are the key learnings as far as this session is being concerned. And thank you very much. Wear your failures as the badge of honor, learn from them, and again start with a new enthusiasm. That's all from my side. And if you have any queries, you can ask. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
If I may tell a few words.
Yes, please.
So in front of the DASCO, I would like to sincerely thank you for this great lecture. This was very important topic, and your speak and your lecture was very inspiring, not only for students, but also for seniors. I am right now intrigued by the fact that some faculties are not paying attention to the entrepreneurship at all. And I know many faculties which have decent scientific activities, but they don't teach their students how to become an entrepreneur. And after finishing their graduate studies, and after finishing their PhDs, and after being able to perform various research activities. They do not know how to monetize their skills, and they, what is even more important, they don't know how to make a contribution to their society. And I would like to cite your words when you said this. That was very important for me, and I think that it is very important for students as well. And you said that entrepreneur is not aiming only, the real entrepreneur is not aiming only to make money. They are also aiming to make a contribution to the society. And that is what we are all here trying to do, actually, not just to learn how to become an entrepreneur, but also how to learn how to contribute to our societies. And if COVID-19 something taught us, that is that we have to rely on each other and to rely on our skills to make a productive society. So, responsible governments pay attention to conditions for entrepreneurs, because if we don't have entrepreneurs, we don't have that flow of money and services, etc., etc. So, thank you very much for this lecture, which was extremely inspiring. And I would really like to hear some questions from students. And of course, I would like to also thank to Dr. Ruby Singh for initiating this. It was really inspiring and beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Any questions?
If anyone is having any question, they can ask now, please.
Even I can say that Edasco is a type of enterprise. I can say it's an entrepreneurial initiative because it's a socio-entrepreneurship. It is benefiting the society by providing a platform for the institutions to share their thoughts across the boundaries of countries, I can say. So yes, a very good initiative, Edasco. You have any, I can see some example in the chat box. Okay. Aryan Divedi, you have any question? How can we start our journey without good finance? If you can start your journey without good finance, if you have any idea with you, you can submit, you can prepare a business plan, you can get the help from mentors. If you have the incubation center in your institute, you can prepare a business plan and submit that business plan to any the banks, or you can say you can pitch your idea into some summits like the entrepreneurship summits, and there you can get the capital support, the funding support from the people who are ready to invest in your idea, and then you can start your entrepreneurial journey. And the another thing, if you have the idea which is not related to finance, not in which capital is not required, then also you can you can start your entrepreneurial journey. Like for example, you can register with you and your friends, you can register yourself as an NGO or NPO, and you can start your entrepreneurial journey as a social. Shall we proceed? Dr. Ruby, shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time and for sharing your views.
There is one question popped up in my chat box. How can we ourselves? Srishti, what you wish to ask, please unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I'm saying that how can we improve ourselves, ma'am?
In regard as a human being or as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, ma'am.
As an entrepreneur, you can improve yourself by you can see the reading the articles of successful entrepreneurs. There are various websites which are available. You can read the blogs, you can read the successful stories. Better India is one of the portal wherein you can read the successful stories of entrepreneurs. You can also watch some TEDx sessions. If you are not comfortable in reading, then you can listen to those podcasts and all the successful stories, and there you can get the insights that how what are the different ways a person thinks being an entrepreneur. So education is one way, as I have already said, that it is not wise to say that education is not paying any importance in a person's life to become an entrepreneur, because education is very much required to become a successful entrepreneur, because no one can cheat you if you are well educated. So education, skipping the education or keeping education as the second priority doesn't give you the desired result. Take the help from your you can say the teachers. You can take the help of mentors. If you have the e-cell in your institute, you can take the help from that particular department also. They will guide you to become become an entrepreneur and think in the manner a person thinks when he wants to become an entrepreneur. So if you really seek to become an entrepreneur, you will be becoming an entrepreneur. But only thing is you need to be self-determined. Self-determination is very much required to become an entrepreneur. You have to believe in yourself that yes, I am right. It has been said that if a person is asking that, can I become an entrepreneur? He will never become an entrepreneur because he is not having confidence in himself or herself. Right? So always seek the learnings. You always learn from other people, but never question yourself. Right? Srishti, I hope I have given your answer. Anything else? I think we need to end up the session.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today's session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your views. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.